I haven't looked at cheap laptops for a long time, but these days I had a problem with my RAM, and yeah, it turns out that 16 gigs is not enough for everyday use. I use quite significant page file if I use only 16 gigs of RAM. Around 8 gigs of page file is also used to kind of manage things, open just web pages on two monitors, and maybe Dota. So that's motivation for me to check what laptops are available, especially the cheap ones, because those are usually garbage. I mean, you buy it, you can maybe use it for a month or two, and then you realize everything about it sucks. It has a good screen, full HD now, IPS, really good screen. But yeah, let's look at this one. Just the first one first. First one on the list is VisionBook 14WR Umax. Made of plastic, 14-inch screen, full HD, blah 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 blah. Celeron, it's I think a dual core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and flash and 64 gig SSD. Yeah, and the color. The problem with this thing is that they didn't specify this right. This is not like this on other websites. You will see in a minute. But yeah, it's a pretty basic laptop, which also comes with Windows 10 Pro license, I think. Yeah, here it is. It comes with Windows 10 Pro license. And yeah, they didn't fill out the information here because they don't know much about this product. It's a Czech product from the Czech Republic. And yeah, what I found about this, well, first, let's talk about the 4 gigs of RAM, which is not enough for Windows 10 or 11. That's the starting point. You need at least 8 gigs to work somewhat properly on in Windows 10 or 11. So it has 4, and it's soldered to the main board, and there's no expansion slot. As this gentleman in a Czech online website, online store, responded to this guy's inquiry. Hello, unfortunately, the notebook has RAM tied to the motherboard. Have a nice rest of your day. And that's what you kind of expect from a cheap laptop. It has no options inside, no expandable, upgradable components. So yeah, this is from a Czech website. I have confidence that this is true. Maybe 1% it's not, but all indications point to it being true. So I found another video. This was an unboxing on YouTube. And here are the specs, more detailed. So it has a Gemini Lake, refresh. Dual core processor, just as I said. 1.1 gigahertz base frequency, maximum 2.8. Well, that's kind of okay, but it's a crap dual core processor. Intel UHD graphics 600. I have experience with this exact configuration. Oh yeah, and the 4 gigs of RAM also. And the 14-inch. Yeah, okay. So, the problem with this and why I didn't remember, because we bought a computer like this for my ex 5 years ago, I think. 5 or 6. And back then, it already wasn't enough. So what this configuration like this can do, pretty much playback video. That's the only thing that's good at, and web pages kinda slowly. But it can play back video in full HD if you start the video and let it buffer and do all the things. It will start out kind of hard, but in like 20-30 seconds it will start playing really smoothly, and the picture quality is awesome. Yeah, that's all it can do. So yeah, what this has, what's not in the specs on the original website in this Romanian shop, is the 64 gigabyte. So this is a soldered chip on the main board. You can't change this, but you can add an M.2 SATA SSD. This can be, there's no limit. It's 2280, so the longest one, longest form factor, and you can add pretty much 2 terabytes without a problem. But it has to be SATA, because this is a crappy processor and it doesn't allow PCI Express lanes for the M.2 slot. So yeah, you can put 2 terabytes as long as SATA drives are available. The battery, yeah, it's kind of good. My experience with that similar laptop was that, yeah, the battery was already very old and degraded. But if it's new, if you happen to get a new battery, this is enough for like 10-12 hours of work. And that's kind of okay. Wi-Fi BGN, that's really old. Bluetooth 4, really old. 0.3 megapixel camera, that's really crap. You can hook it up to a TV and use it as a smart TV through HDMI. It's a mini HDMI, so you need the special cable. The TVs usually use a standard HDMI port. Micro SD slot, yeah, that's on the side somewhere. Here? Yeah. That's kind of nice. Already better than a MacBook. USB 2, USB 3. Oh, it has a USB Type-C for data only. Okay, they specified it. Audio jack, microphone built in. The keyboard is a mix, so you don't want to look at it because it's full of stickers and stuff. You you just remember the US layout and don't look at it. And Windows 10 Pro license. So yeah, this was a very good laptop 5 years ago. A very good laptop for children watching videos 5 years ago. Today, not so much. So yeah, here's the picture I found with the opening for the SSD. The laptop we bought for my ex, it had a slot on the opposite side, somewhere in the front here. Between the two speakers, it had the slot, and it was half size, like 2240 it's called. Yeah. Yeah. And also it had an SSD installed. But yeah, that's another story because it was a more expensive model. It was almost twice the price of this. So yeah, it had a 128 gig SSD. Yeah, so you can you can install an SSD because remember, with this cheap in this cheap price, which is basically 160 bucks, about 160 bucks. Yeah, kind of that. 160 bucks, that doesn't include an SSD, so this doesn't make any sense what they wrote here. It has a flash chip 64 gig soldered on the main board, and it has an M.2 slot which is empty. So yeah, 160 bucks. I don't know who should buy this. Maybe someone who wants a really cheap system for whatever reason. For multimedia, maybe up to full HD, or I have no idea. Somebody wrote here in the comments. Let me just show you. Excellent for Minecraft. So yeah, this was added by a woman or girl on this year, April. Okay, and she left a 5-star review. Yeah. So if you don't have any expectations, this is perfect for you. I'll be back with some more videos on other laptops.